Hello YouTube and welcome to episode 2 of my Katanagatari reaction series, back here again for more adventures in the world of Katanagatari. So it's a little bit early in the morning, so again excuse the light and all those kind of things. But yeah, we're here. This is the Tuesday that I'm planning to upload this. I'm going to edit this tonight and try to catch back up after the Girls und Panzer movie kind of threw me out. But again, I should stop rambling. We're going to actually just get into this thing and get some momentum going with Katanagatari in episode 2. So I think first I'll go comments. Yeah, let's do that first. Cool. There's some YouTube comments here, about 8 in total. I should have mentioned this if I didn't already last week. I'm going to be going through the YouTube comments, pretty similar to how I've done with my other stuff. First comment here, Gian Bueno. Finally, one of the great reactors of YouTube is picking up this kind of underground work of Nisio Isin. So glad it won the poll. Don't know about this part. Don't know about that. But again, I probably wouldn't even know how to rank such a thing. But is it underground? I mean, I'd heard of it. I don't know. It's not too underground. It exists. I just wouldn't imagine it's as popular as something like a Monogatari, obviously. But I digress. We'll continue here. As far as notes go, maybe writing down the names of each sword and their peculiarities. Oh my god, that word. And abilities might be a good call. Yes, it would. I should go and do that on the first episode. I'll probably do that when I get back to notes and that kind of thing. Still haven't read the novels for this one, so I won't have nearly as much trivia and stuff to say as Monogatari, but we'll be here for the ride regardless. One thing I can say is Togebi's name can be read as eye shaped like a 10. The kanji for the number 10 is a cross, just one of your usual Nisio Isin isms regarding names and such. Okay, so yeah, this number stuff's interesting, especially like, I'll just scroll up to it now. Hot Wheels Kids comment here, Shichika Hachirisu is a pun, which again, now reading it, like Shichi, Hachi, is pretty obvious. Find somebody with a Q somewhere and we're in business. Nanami as well, which we talk about here. Nana, Shichi, Nana, and then apparently Mutsue, which I wasn't familiar with. 6th branch, apparently. Yeah, we just really need to find a Q, and then we're putting everything together with Togame, so don't know. Why was 6 afraid of 7? 7, 8, 9. It's one of those jobbies, isn't it? Next comment here from Harpet. As with any Nisio Isin story, there's lots to dig into, so I'm eager to see your insights as we go along. Series is an old favourite of mine, so excited for the new thoughts and perspectives. Hope you'll find enjoyment in it as I have. I hope I do too. Random trivia that might be interesting. The series was released over the course of a year, with one volume releasing each month. The anime followed suit, releasing in a similar manner. As something of a slacker myself, it amazes me that Nisio Isin was able to release these stories month to month without ending up in deadline/hiatus hell, like I normally am. And yes, I'm not going to get cheeky and release these month by month. We're going to still attempt to be week by week about it. So yeah, 12 episodes, 12 months, 12 swords, 12 novels. Lots of 12, lots of nature, climate, seasons, 1 year. There's some stuff. There's some stuff for sure. I'd need to go back and look at the backgrounds, but you could probably infer a season that the show will start in. And I'm imagining canonically in the show, it'll probably a year will pass. So when we skip to the episode today, probably enough time has passed where the characters are a little bit on better terms. It's not the first day that they've met anymore. Or maybe I'm completely wrong. I do not know. Next comment here from Saint Yor. Glad to see the Nisio Isin train is still going. By the way, you should absolutely not skip the next episode previews, which I won't. I'm imagining they're going to be similar to Monogataris, where there's like character stuff in them, which is fun. The train's still chugging along, but this is probably its last stop. I could do Medaka Box or Pretty Boy Detective Club, which I've already seen part of, which was pretty, but I was kind of not about it. Pretty interesting premise, though. It's interesting that they went for a little bit more of a male fan service thing, but again, whatever. Medaka Box, I just don't know what that is. But yeah, I mean, I'm open to putting anything and everything on polls and that kind of thing, so let me know if there's something I should do. This is the comment from Hot Wheels Kid that I already kind of talked about. So Shichika means 7 flowers, also his given name. The entire family has this naming convention from the sister Nanami, which means 7 fruits. So flowers, fruits, 7 comes from the fact that the 7th generation of the Kyoto-ru. So that's almost like a Q. Almost. Anyway. And then Mutsue, of course, meaning 6th branch. So they've got a nature connection there. You could tell that as much from Shichika's character design from last week. The second part, Hachiretsu, means to rend into 8 pieces, but put together they make Shichika Hachiritsu, which means to be torn apart. I guess it's supposed to invoke imagery of petals being scattered, but instead it's limbs and stuff. Apparently it might be a play on Shichiten Haki, which mean to fall down 7 times but to get up 8. Okay, resilience, and then this nature theme, potentially with a little bit of a ominous tone, maybe. Things may go bad before they go good again. We'll see. Hot Wheels Kid continues here. In the name Zeto Kana, the Tor part means sword. The other swords listed at the beginning had similar names like Zanto and Sento. It's also the Tor that's in Kyotoru, the fighting style that Shichika uses, which means the flow of an empty sword. When written alone, the same kanji for Tor is read as katakana. Okay, this fills in my gap then of what part of that term meant sword. So can we infer that kana is the operative thing there? Maybe? I don't know. Zeto kana spelled like this. The first kanji can mean unparalleled or peerless, but it can also mean sever. And kana bit means a plane, like the one carpenters use. I've seen it translated as Zeto the Leveler before, which sounds pretty cool to me. Okay. Maybe I'll go through all the sword names as we get to them. That would be very handy for me to add to my thing. So Zeto the Leveler, Zeto Kana. That's what we're going to write down, I think. You are 100% right that it's a pun based on Zeto, which means isolated island, though, which was the thing I looked up last week. Again, I'm trying to interpret a language through a fantasy show, which probably isn't the best way to do so. Kramer, next comment here, almost an hour per episode. Is it only something that White Fox can do, as ReZero Season 2 did this many times as well? It's a method that Kramer prefers than the traditional 24-minute episode. Yes and no. It depends on what you want out of it. I'm always partial to having bite-sized pieces, so I'm never looking to sit down for an hour and watch anime generally, right? Unless I'm like super into something, I'm not looking to do that in my own time. I mean, I'm very much I'll watch an episode, I'll get up, I'll do something, I'll watch another episode, even if there's only like 20 minutes between them. So I mean, different strokes for different folks, but I'm definitely partial to the 24-minute structure. So this person's name is Doke Hyo, and just says more Nisio Isin nice. But if you click into their channel, it's in Arabic, and then that says, bear with me here, Muhammad al-Balushi. So sure, either one there will work, and just saying more Nisio Isin is a good thing. Which, I mean, I agree with broadly, so there's that. So this is my thing that I had from last week, kind of letting me know, or reminding me of where we're at, which is very handy. I'm happy that I did this, actually, because it lets me jump off on some plot stuff that I want to talk about in kind of setting up this next episode and the expectations there. So we start with a flashback. Kyotoru leader Mutsue Yasuri takes out the rebellion single-handedly. He's very strong. You see like him take out people with like, he just like kills them. Hida Takahito is destroyed, leaving his current daughter, Jesus, I'm reading this line instead of this line, Togame, to pick up the pieces. The current shogunate is scared of Kyotoru's power and exiles the family to an island. Mutsue died 1 year ago, leaving Shichika and Nanami as the only inhabitants, before Nanami is now the only inhabitant after the ending of episode 1. Togame visits to get Kyotoru's power, claiming to be from the shogunate, but is actually working on her own revenge plot, which is, again, hasn't really been confirmed, denied, blah, 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 but this is pretty much what I believe, right? It's she says for my father and that kind of thing, and there's a lot of stuff about the eye. The eye is very important in this regard. She needs 12 powerful swords to enact this plot, but the ninjas have some, and the monsters have some, and some other bloke has some, who's Sabi Hakuhei, and she needs Shichika's help to help her get all these swords together again. And the thing that she offers is her love, right? If you can love me and be devoted to me, and in turn maybe I'll be devoted to you, then maybe we can do something about this. Maybe we can team up and, you know, be mutually beneficial for each other. Again, it's hard for me to understand at this moment Shichika's emotional line, because he's very simple, right? I don't know, because there's Old Mate, who's like the evil guy that we fought last episode, whose name is like something, I'm forgetting it. Oh my god. It was definitely a name though. And he's like, you can't actually believe her. She's manipulating you. She's just trying to get what she wants. And then essentially Shichika's just like, oh, okay. And doesn't really care about that and just goes on the way anyway, with the knowledge of, you know, carrying her secret, the only one that would carry her secret, right? He confirms as such. He's like, hey, does anybody else know this? Cool, so if I kill you and dispatch you, then her secret is safe, and we can continue doing the same thing. And again, the conflict generally brewing here is around Togami's motivations. Is she legitimate about this Shichika relationship thing? Is it more to do with the father backstory stuff? Is there going to be conflict here, right? Does Shichika know that she's not that into it? Is she going to become into it as we continue? What's genuine? What's real? What's fake? It starts to sound a little bit like a Nisio Isin story, doesn't it? And yeah, that's our setup. From the preview we saw last week, it seems like we're going to a little bit more of a populated area. We'll have some fish out of water stuff, and we'll find another sword and get crack-a-lackin' there. And just down here, I've written Zeto Kana, Zeto the Leveler. That's the name of the sword. The first sword from the first episode, which you'd imagine you would run into another sword this episode. Cool, so that's just about that. Just some chill stuff before jumping into episode 2. So if you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation. Comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. And the Discord. Join Discord, love Discord, Discord. And yes, we're jumping into episode 2 of Katanagatari right now. Rightio, I have episode 2 of Katanagatari up there, ready to go. Pop that up there. 49 minutes and 49 seconds on this one, so please sync up accordingly using those GSK-kun subs, and there will be a picture-in-picture version in the description below for your viewing pleasure. And yeah, just gonna give it a 3, 2, 1. Rightio? 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, seagulls. Indeed. True. She's a bit seasick. Deviant blades. Is that why I heard the word hentai? But anyway. Yeah, Maniwa Komori. That was the evil guy. Oh, we're literally at Kyoto. Okay, that's a sea change for old mate. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta just forget about him. Oh. Okay, I understand. No, look at the hair color. That's the most... Oh, but you've also got a design. Okay. You do stand out. Let's get him some different clothes. It's cute. We're going shopping. That would be a problem. So I do need these clothes. Well, human relationships come with a lot of hassles. Oh my god. See, look, it's cute. It's like their boyfriend and girlfriend. Chic. Oh. Some ruffians. Oh no. I think you picked the wrong... Yeah. This isn't going to go well. He literally has no idea what to do. Don't you learn your... How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? No, generally not. You don't... Yeah, it's called murder. We don't do that. It's a fine line between murder and self-defense. But she's still very... Manipulative's the wrong word, but she knows how to use his strength more than he does, which is interesting. Yeah, Togami is the character that definitely needs the most stuff. And I think we're going to get it, for the record. The most focus, that motivation, real feelings versus fake feelings. But yeah, we're getting a lot of the fish out of water stuff that I thought we'd get, but that was even before the opening, so... It's almost nice having a really nice structure like this, where it's like, hey, here's 50 minutes. You're gonna do 50 minutes today, whether you like it or not. Where I think the temptation for me today would have definitely been to do, like, if this was 24, you get him one, bro. Just, oh my god, the Girls and Panzer movie, and me, like, working all through that section. It's like killed me. But yeah, day off today, hence why we're able to do this. Zeto Namakura. Or Zanto. Oh, shit. It's been a month. There you go. Inaba. Okay. What is that he's holding? Oh, it's hair. Okay. It would be, yeah. That already happened, though. Is he stupid? Hmm. Oh, there you go. Blunt the Decapitator. No, it doesn't. Oh my god. It's a very sharp sword that cuts off heads. It's interesting that we're focusing on recognizing heads now as well. Okay. Less complete. It's stronger. Gotcha. Uneri Gin something. Kinkaku. I feel like I know what Kinkaku means. Anyway. Okay. Yeah, you do have a weird way of speaking. I was going to note that. Talks like Yoda. Kind of looks like that new Miyazaki movie. It's kind of funny. Oh, he's cool. Oh. Bit reclusive and tired. Has no time for gimmicks. Oh. Oh. I think he's just a recluse. Interesting. Don't know. I don't. Yeah, again, neither of you are very smart, I don't think. What for? What's this song? Alright, we're looking for a catchphrase. Something catchy. In what way? Oh my god. So Nisio Isin. Hmm. I think that's the truth. And can change forms. Nah, sometimes the villain's more interesting. I think it's interesting in context with these other works. Indeed, he has a gimmick. Not really, but if you're in fiction, you do. Money, money. It's catchy. Okay. Yeah, that'll get you to be interesting. Yeah, I'm querying it. What does he say? It's very cool. Shut up. No, it kind of works as irony. A lot of characters do that, even in like shonens. Okay. The privilege. Okay. I don't want to say that. It doesn't really fit me either. Yeah, exactly. Like a cool guy. This is very self aware. Very, very, very self aware. Genre aware. Story aware. Yeah, yeah, good point. Mm, sounds like you're settling. I'm lying. Yep, just lie. Yeah, I know. It's very clever. Is it? It's very British. Cheerio. Sure. I like it. I mean, you're right. I did not know that, but now I do. Okay, I'll look forward to it. Oh, she said the word. Anyway. Oh, cool. This was in the preview last week. I think that's the guy, right? Yeah. Hakuhe. I know, how cool. Give her like a piggyback or something. Yeah, I did note earlier, like she moves twice as many steps for his one with their walk cycles, which is fun. Yeah, don't tell her to wear less clothes either. It's definitely not going to work. It's a metaphor. Hakama. Oh, okay. What did she trip on? Oh, that's a corpse of old mate. Yeah, money, money. Okay, we found the castle, everybody. Whatever you say. True, but indeed, he said too much bullshit. Kinda. I think it would have just won anyway. Yeah, at least we know it's here, but also he's really strong. That as well. True. He wouldn't have run away. Exactly. Utmost confidence. Or, you know, he doesn't care for it either. What's the word? Anyway. Checked out? It's like checked out. He's too checked out to move. Hmm. At least kinda. I'll talk about that line too. Very good. No, we're gonna go in and have a look, I think. Hmm. Sure. It's not a very apt descriptor, but sure. I don't know. I want to see what he's about. Again, he just seems kind of checked out. Are we gonna talk no jutsu him? Hey. Hi. How you doing? Hmm. Indeed. Indeed. I don't think you should be leading like in front of Shichika, considering what I know about what he's about to do. Hmm. I don't think money can buy it. The exact opposite. I don't think a fair trade exists for this guy. Hmm. I don't think he cares. I mean, we could cancel out the bounty. Yawns loudly. Hmm. I don't trust you. There he goes. What? How'd you pull her with your foot moving like that? Exactly. That's the most surprising part to me. Interesting. Yeah, you would have died. Well, that's fun too. Okay. Gotcha. Now what happens? Hmm. A little bit. There's a size discrepancy. Getting some One Ring vibes off this guy, right? Ooh, talking shit. Kind of. Sword but no sword. Yeah, let's scrap, sure. Yeah, depending on perspective. Well, he was kind of sitting down. What if he still stood up? What? No, that's not how this works. No, that's subverting our expectations. Okay. Guess I'll just stay here then. Hmm. Gonna say the family name? Yep. What do you know about that? Anything? You do, kinda. You got the frown thing going on. I'd like to know. And yeah, he didn't. He just kind of stayed put. Another good point. Good luck. Cut the floor out with a saw, Looney Tunes style. Oh, yeah, good strategy. Oh, yeah, good strategy. Yeah, that kind of does defeat the purpose. Remember those 4 things we said at the end of the last episode? Yeah. What? I'll become angrier. What do you mean? So what's our strategy? Yeah, 4 things. She got very red. Oh, to have like an operative role. I see. To give myself a bit of motivation? Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so you don't know the dad or whatever, which would have been my other thought. Ooh, flashback. Indeed. And then linking that into what we were just talking about before as well. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're back. Hey. Oni-chan. Yeah, my man's about to sprint. I got a plan. Oh, he just dodged. Okay. Got him up, though. He's not very ruthless, I'll give him that. Whatever you say. Oh, dude, that was almost like a catchphrase. Okay. Yeah, true. Yeah, he's spamming AoE. Oh, self-destructive. Oh. Oh. He's powering up. In a really metal way. Oh, Gary. What? Another one? Hmm. It's not a lot of honor in that. Yeah, we're not going to win by, yeah, like last time. Sure. Show me too. What is that? I don't think I can. Oh. Exactly. That would have been my thing, right? If a desert's here, desert's here. I'm not like a genie. I just work for the government. I don't know. Inertia. Why does anybody do anything? As do I. She's behind me. I'm interested to see how this will be animated. He's putting it all on the line. Sucks to be her. Okay. That's almost like a catchphrase too. Alright, did we cave his skull in? Seems as though we did. It's very pretty though. Yeah, okay, we're back. No, yeah, she can hear you. She's having a moment. What's wrong with that? We won. Hmm. Yeah, they got me hook, line, and sinker there a little bit. That's a bit funny. Let's have a look. Zantor. Okay. Bit of honor, bit of pride. I don't know. Probably pass into history. Self-aware. Yeah. A catchphrase is more something you could say when you're on the other side of the equation. Okay. Yeah, you only really get to say it once. Yeah, you got to stay alive. Okay. What happens to the castle now? Oh. Yeah, you got released from your curse, so to say. There's a number of different lines you could take from that episode, which I really enjoy. All of the fourth wall, being aware that we're in a story stuff is quite good here. Like the presence of that one Maniwa guy is so funny. Like here I am with my massive gimmick, and then he's gone. Just like, oh, but we remember that guy because he had a gimmick, so you have to incorporate your gimmick as well, right? Also, this song's different, I should say. It's kind of rips. Oh shit. The other one is obviously like needing something to protect, pride. What is a swordsman? What is a swordsman without a sword? How does that play into all of this stuff? The final move, which is basically a big like middle finger fuck you to the audience for thinking a certain thing would happen, and then he used her as a springboard instead. But we still play it kind of straight with that kind of notably somber ending. I thought we'd do more stuff with decapitation and recognizing different people. Maybe that's still coming. Like needing the hair to be wrapped around and the whole sniffing thing to know that it's her in the future. There's something in that. I think, anyway. Recognizing different people. This guy seems cool. Please don't. It's very difficult to read as well. Indeed. Cheerio! And then, yeah, we get this little part, and then it ends. Oh no. So yeah, that was episode 2 of Katanagatari, and we're going to jump into a little bit of analysis on such a thing very shortly. Okay, so before doing anything else, I'm going to go through a few terms that I think are neat, right? So first one would be, what do I have here? The name of the castle, Gekoku Castle, right? I've got Gekokujo, which is the Japanese word which means someone of a lower position overthrowing someone of a higher position using military or political might, seizing power. So, like, again, going against the grain was originally employed to get this sword and then turned on everybody and blah, 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 blah. So, that's kind of the history of the place, maybe why it's got that kind of name. Maybe there's something there, or maybe, again, it can be inferred through other stuff, or maybe there's another meaning, I do not know. Next would be the Inaba province, which was the kind of formal provincial area which makes up the Tottori prefecture that's in current day Japan, right? Which is kind of a hop, skip, and a jump away from Kyoto, at least relative to me, an Australian, where everything is super far away from each other. So again, that makes sense that they start the episode in Kyoto and then make their way over there. That makes sense. To my knowledge, to all available evidence, this area is not a desert, so I don't know what they're smoking on with this one. The desert's, again, a little bit more metaphorical, right? Something that leaves the guy, again, he had a name. Let me just get it so I know. Uneri Ginkaku, and we'll talk about Ginkaku as well. Uneri Ginkaku, his family, before Kinkaku or whatever, they, stood by this area and all the things in it, even as the people left, right? It was important that he had something to protect. Him as a swordsman was kind of cursed, right? With this need to protect something, right? And as soon as all the people went away, it turned to the castle. And then as soon as the castle kind of went to ruin, it turned into just this room. I need something to protect, otherwise what's my purpose? Thinking about our purpose in that way, almost you can see the ending as somewhat of a mercy killing. Anyway, the desert's like a metaphor. Cool. Then of course we have Kinkaku, right? Which is, I know it off the temples, right? Where there's like the silver pavilion and the gold pavilion and all that shit, right? Yeah, Ginkaku-ji. Oh, Jishoji. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, and they're in Kyoto as well. Okay, popular tourist destination. I know because the girls from K-On! Went there in an episode. I know I'm uncultured. And then of course we have Zanto Namakura, right? So I've looked up a couple things. They're saying, what is this? Blunt the Decapitator, which cool. So Zanto, right, means remnants, survivors, pocket of resistance, but also unfortunate but expected, harsh but fair. Okay, which is a bit more of an internet slang, so maybe take that one with a grain of salt. But remnant survivors definitely makes sense, considering he's the last one in this kind of region at the moment. Unfortunate but expected also maybe talks about the way he died, but again, that's a bit more of a stretch. And then we have Namakura, which can mean blunt, which they're using, right? But also lazy, cowardly, good for nothing, which could be a little bit of a harsher look at the guy's actions, Ginkaku. But that's only the word itself instead of the kanji which they use, which again means dull. Which is, I mean, ironic considering how sharp and fast the sword is and stuff. I wouldn't describe it as dull. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, that was a couple of terms. Just in general, the episode was pretty good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And I like the dynamic building between Togame and Shichika. I think that's quite good. Definitely some boyfriend-girlfriend vibes to it, right? Like, pretty classic, even sitcom-y at points, right? Where she's doing too much shopping, and she's being too much of a nitpicky person about catchphrases and stuff. So I'm just going to say, yes, honey, and that's just going to work. It's kind of like that kind of vibe, at least a little bit, right? Again, I felt they were building up something a little bit more solid with the whole I'm sniffing your hair thing and sniffing you and have your hair touch me so I know that it's you, right? Again, this could just be a setup more broadly for future stuff, and I'm keeping that in the back pocket for when inevitably that kind of stuff pays off. The connection building between Shichika and Togame. Kind of talked about it a lot through the ED, but I really like the meta stuff here. And I really like the general line and the idea of needing something to protect, even if we subvert that in the end by bringing along Togami only to use her as kind of a bouncing pad for whatever other plan we had to show off all our moves, right? So anyway, let's bring this episode up and then we'll have a little bit more of a look. I don't want to pause on every single one of these, but again, like contrast is really fun between these two, right? Just sailing nicely. And if I go ahead, yeah, she's very much not enjoying the rough seas, right? It was nice and calm when she came in, but on the way back, less so. I think because this guy's paddling. Oh, we even get a really early cheerio there. Okay, so she's already pushing this cheerio thing, which I don't know what the other word means that she thinks she's saying, but cheerio, again, yeah, it's a foreign word meaning goodbye. Cheerio, cheerio, good chap. Very, very British. So we introduced the conflict from last time, right? Where, hey, you didn't even really recognize me and kind of won via fluke, right? And we address both parts of that. You didn't recognize me, so we're going to do things so you do recognize me and not mistake me for a blue-haired girl with blue eyes who may come back because she's got a very distinct design. So we're going to do the hair thing and the sniff thing so you know it's me. But also the other part, we're not going to win by a fluke, right? We're going to actually put together a strategy, use everything within our capabilities to win, strategize a way to at least like use the idea of him needing to protect just that room against him and going to the roof, right? Where you can't quite reach. But yeah, like you don't get shots like this of characters if they're not important. So keeping an eye on it, for sure. Again, as I've described, the boyfriend-girlfriend dynamic, almost in a very modern way, at least have some modern sensibilities. I can't take you out because you dress too badly, let's dress him up, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to buy a bunch of clothes for ourselves. He doesn't really care about it, but it'll make things worse for me. Like, you guys have lived before. This is what happens, right? Like, almost in a very stereotypical way. Again, like, I like the relationship building here. I think it's quite nice. And again, I think Nisio Isin only ever uses stereotypes to make commentary upon them. And yeah, I think the story may go some ways I don't expect it to go within this regard. Because I think, again, from where we ended the last episode, the very obvious thing to do is to, like, make her fall for him more and more and more and more and make their connection grow and grow and grow to the point where she forgets some of the original notions of her plan, which was a little bit secretive initially, right? And different points in that kind of scale, right, where we're gathering the swords and we're protecting her and protecting himself, they may get switched around. Like, I may give up myself for him at some points. But Nisio Isin moment, so he may just fucking do some weird shit. And I'm here for that as well. Again, like, I'm not going to go through every gag. The gags are really good. I just wanted to say that and shout that out. They would see me as some dominatrix and harass me, I go, by throwing rocks as we pass. Yeah, not really what will happen, but it'll get him convinced to put on some clothes. I still don't really understand the eye. Like, oh, they're for me. And then the eye pops up. Oh no, of course we have, like, the 10 eye thing, right? Togame. Isn't it like Ju, Juichiju, Niju, Sanju, Yonju, Goju, Roku. Anyway, structurally, again, we're just getting our bearing, our sea legs with what will happen with this show as we continue. A lot of it is conversations. As we've said before, we do get a little bit more narration that I'm noticing this episode. Not that it wasn't present in the first one, but like when we need to say some exposition, we're not exactly doing it through the characters all the time. Sometimes there's that narrator lady who's quite nice. I like her. Gives it a little bit more of a classical feel, which I enjoy. Most of the time, dialogue. Sometimes we've been panning away. We panned away to whatever his name is, Sabi Hakuhei. Yeah, that guy. We pan away to that guy at a certain point. We pan over to a POV basically on what's his face on Ginkaku, right? So, like, we're switching around a little bit more than we did previous. We did have that flashback, I guess, but that was through Togami's eyes. It's just interesting how we're telling the story. We're kind of playing a little bit fast and loose with what we're doing all the time. We run into some ruffians here. It's a pretty obvious one where we're like, yeah, normally this would be a problem, but he's big and powerful and stuff, so he's going to protect her. Even adds into the theme of the episode, right? Like, he has something that he needs to protect and almost goes for the kill because of that. Like, he goes for the sword, right? Much in the way that our guy does at the end, you guys would be dead if you were a little better at using those swords. Hardy ha, skip to the end where we have a guy that's really good at using the swords, and because of that he has to die. Goes to use the hidden art, again, because he's protecting her, right? They threatened her life, he comes to protect. I'm protecting you, I have something I need to protect, that's why I'm using my sword in such a way, but it's a swordless sword, so what does that mean? Again, like, with swords you can do two things, generally attack and defend. Defending being the most honorable, right? We don't really like the attackers, that's bad. So can we talk to that as an idea with a swordless sword? Don't know. But yeah, we basically tell him not to murder and then jump into the opening. The opening didn't change, but the ED did, so I may have a read of that song. Zanto Namakura, as I've said before. The setup here made me think they were, like, doing it, which I think is the joke, right? Don't be so rough. Hardy, hardy, ha. I don't know how to hold back. And then he's, like, sniffing hair and got the hair wrapped around him, right? But again, this is more that she instigated it because she doesn't want to just randomly get fucking stabbed by this guy. Which I think is fair enough. He is very close, though. And then little blush. Hardy, hardy, ha. Where's this all going? I don't know. Does she find him hot? Does she like him? I don't know. Maybe a bit of both? I don't know. Yeah, go ahead and lick me. Stop squirming around, though. Yeah, I don't know. What's going on here? Again, we have to get ages all done right? So the only indicator that I have is that so he spent his entire life on the island, right? And she was at least cognizant of some stuff when her father, like, the rebellion stopped and he was killed, right? And then it was only, like, the original head, the guy that, oh my god, Matsue, that guy. It was only after that rebellion that he was sent to the island. So I'm saying there's a good 5-year gap here, but at least she's on the older end for once. That's nice. So yeah, we're going after Blunt the Decapitator in Inaba. Inaba's a desert now, as we hear. Yeah, Shikizaki's sense of irony is the reason why it's named Blunt, because it's not very blunt at all. It's exceedingly sharp. To the point where we're scaling things up. Yeah, that first sword from the first episode, this one would be better than it. We're contrasting swordsman and ninja. So ninja from previous episode, tricksters, right? Always looking to get one over, not honorable, right? Using deception to get what they want. As opposed to when we're going to fight the swordsman, it's Uneri Ginkaku, right? And he's, a swordsman. Honor, protection, protecting something, needing a reason to exist. All these kind of questions come into question. As opposed to this guy's evil, let's just clown on him for a bit. So, back in the day, the Shogun Q who wanted all the swords, right? He sent this guy after it. After that, this guy's ancestor, I should say. He sent this guy's ancestor after it. He said, it's mine now. I'm just going to take this sword, as if he was honor bound, right? Because normally, because, the feudal lord in that area, he was just like, hey, this is my sword. And then he's like, no, it ain't, it's mine. And then he used the Zanto to repulse the army and, kill 100,000, 10,000 soldiers. And then we use this as our intro to, introduce this character, Unani Ginkaku, as well as the random Maniwa guy who's embarrassed to enter through the front door. Normally, all about that deception, right? All about that sneaky deaky stuff. Yeah, this is Maniwa Shirasagi, right? He's one of the 12 heads of the Maniwa cause. Is there something about him looking like a bird? Is he specifically a heron? I don't know. But he looks like a bird, and that's kind of cool. He's got a really cool design. I bet this guy's going to be like a major player this episode, right? He's got this weird way that he talks. He's got this great design. But no, we subvert all of that, and he just gets killed. And as we see, he walks in just a step into the door. He has this very annoying way of speaking too, so it probably just pissed him off to the point where he just killed him. Are you telling me that your reverse talk ninja art allows you to keep jabbering on after being sliced in half? And yeah, death, blood. Look at that. Hiken Zero-sen. Oh shit. And that's what we use at the end of the episode, of course. So Zero-sen, and then he goes Go-sen and fucking Ju-sen or whatever, because there's 0, 5, 10. Are we scaling it up that way? A lot of numbers in the show for sure. Again, nonchalant, unfazed, doesn't really care, kind of checked out. That's the vibe. Wanting to die almost. He's honor bound to this room to protect something because all the people left. The castle's kind of sinking into the sand. He only really has this room left, but he won't let himself die, right? He won't let himself leave either. It's a very honorable character, very by his code character. I heard about this place from my dad. Well, Inaba doesn't really look the same way it would have done before. The Inaba Desert started rapidly expanding about 5 years ago and took over everything. So this guy, who normally protected the people of this region, the people left, and what was the line from later in the episode as well? If I wasn't the last one, I probably would have left too. Like I'm the last one preserving this area. And again, puts that somber tone that we apply by the end of the episode onto this conflict, which I like. This is where we bring up the idea of the catchphrase as well, right? Like, oh, stop talking about that stuff that's actually kind of relevant to what we're doing, which is he must have some reason for staying there, which is literally what we say. You need to come up with a catchphrase. You need something catchy, punchy, that's going to pull in an audience. Okay, a number of ways to take this. The in-universe way is the one I'm going to do first, right? Why is it so important to Togame that whatever this story or report is interesting and punchy and will get the will of the people on board and that kind of thing, right? Will appeal to a wide demographic. Is it actually involved in your plan? Or are we taking the other lens, which is outside of the actual context of the world in the show? And are we just being Nisio Isin? Are we subverting this kind of like samurai adjacent character who would have like a cool catchphrase and be really honorable and all that kind of stuff, right? By making this guy that's kind of a schlub that doesn't really know what's going on a lot of the time and he just kills people, right? He just beats them. There is an honor to him, but it's not the same kind of cool, marketable honor that we see in other characters, right? Contrast him completely with the person we're fighting this episode, and you'll see what I mean, right? He's not the classic example, much like the other guy is. Again, I'm forgetting Unari Ginkaku. That for some reason that name is not sticking in the head. And why is it that everything we come up with makes him seem very evil, like bad, right? I don't understand. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I don't know what you're planning, or is Nisio Isin just being kind of clever? The soundtrack here is really interesting too. We have a vocal in the background track, which kind of made it hard to focus on the dialogue. Wasn't my favorite decision in the world, but the track did kind of rip. It got my head bobbing, so I can't be that mad about it. So here's another line I guess I could take is Togame wasn't present the last episode when we murdered the Maniwa guy, right? So, did we bring her along specifically to show her our catchphrase and special move and make sure that it looked like fun and clever and flashy and stuff? If we did kick her in the face, was that an element to it to make sure that she could record the flashy kill? This is a great moment, like explaining what I'm talking about, right? You have a bad personality or a weak personality, right? You go, like, for one frame he does this, right? Is how I figured I should react, but what's the problem exactly? Like, he's very level-headed about it. like imagine a straightforward shonen, this character being met with the same thing, he would get all down in the dumps about it. But again, he's very matter-of-fact. That's his whole character, right? Yeah, no matter how I worded the report, the villain of the week, he stood out more than you. And we can't be having that, so we need you to adopt some of these mannerisms. Again, I'm in stark contrast to the bloke who killed the bloke who had a really strong gimmick who was literally Maniwakor again. So, like, I see what they're saying. Yeah, just what kind of battle is she writing? Is she writing a battle to write an interesting report, or is she actually interested in these swords? I don't know. Is this a joke, or is it not a joke? I'm having a lot of trouble with the show delineating the two. Yeah, I mean, we're literally bringing up by name here, so I should stop pausing all the time and talking about it, because I know it's brought up at later points. We really need to distinguish this guy from the normal. We really need him to come with cute stuff like money and stuff. So my take here, as I've said, is kind of like, this guy is interesting in so much as a Nisio Isin protagonist. If you take him out of that context, I could see how some people may think he's boring, but I think he's funny regardless. Like, when I compare him to Araragi, I'm like, oh, this is obviously a change of pace and is really endearing because of that. But also, I think without that context, I think he's just kind of cool. I don't know. If this is like some meta commentary about how the audience may be feeling about him at this point, I don't see it. But again, I'm more charitable than others. Nisio Isin is known to have a low opinion of his own characters and stuff. Sabi Hakuhei's kind of catchphrase here is, "I'll have you fall for me," which works two ways, at least in the English. I'll have you fall for me, like I killed you with my sword. Cool, awesome. I'll have you fall for me in so much as fall in love with me. I don't know if that has some relevance for you. I don't know, but maybe. So yeah, it's kind of two-pronged in that way. The other one we bring up here is like a mendokusai as a catchphrase, which I think works for a lot of characters, especially in shonen. How many characters are there that are kind of nonchalant about being super powerful, and that makes them really cool? Like, it's a lot. So I think that could have worked here as well as kind of like a subversive thing. And again, I'm thinking the mendokusai, like, what a hassle. How does that apply to Unari Ginkaku as well, right? Another cute line here as well. If I have a catchphrase similar to all these bad guys, won't I become or seem like a bad guy? Considering the violent nature of all these catchphrases you've written down as well. Like, look at this, right? Like, we're obviously like, oh yeah, and then it would become about me being a killing machine versus me being like nice with my lady, right? And the contrast there. And is that the character I want to be? Who does this can remind you of a number of different relationships for sure. Specifically, you being Mina would be nice for Togami's character as well. It would show her off as somebody that is able to handle somebody like this. It seems like she's building a resume. However, by that point, you'll be torn to pieces is the catchphrase we eventually go with. Because, like, again, this is more of the boyfriend-girlfriend stuff we saw earlier, right? I'm saying this is you're being kind of annoying, and you just say, yep, that'll do, whatever you say, so we can get off this conversation. Again, almost sitcom-y in its structure, which I like. I didn't notice later in the episode if he said this, so maybe I'll have another look there, but he didn't say his catchphrase, which is bad. Bad boy, don't do that. Just when we think we're out of the catchphrase conversation, we bring up Cheerio. This is where I want to research what the other end of Cheerio means. I guess I should have said, like, interplaced throughout this conversation has been her saying Cheerio on a number of occasions. Cheerio, and punch him in the chest. Like, this is my cute catchphrase. What do you think? I think it fits my character. Which, I mean, ironically, it kind of does, in that she said the wrong thing. Which, you know, strategist, strategian, like, it's kind of continuing to be a thing where you keep saying the wrong thing, right? So I've written Chesoto into a Japanese dictionary. Do it, up and atom, cheers, hurrah, archaic. That's the kind of when it was used. It's ancient, right? It's used to cheer somebody on. So yeah, that's kind of funny. I like that a lot. And we even foreshadow, hey, her understanding that she's made a mistake here, that revelation is months away, which could be, 5 or 6 weeks. We are then introduced to this, okay, in contrast, right, almost this filmic grain to it, very much like thicker lines, blah, 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 very classical scene, right? Like, nonetheless cool, right? It's cool. But it's very by the book. I'll be taking that sword. You two have been lost to this sword's magic. Much like me, edgy boy with cool hair. And then I'll have you fall for me. Sheath the sword back in. So cool. How cool is he, right? And that's just kind of put there, apropos of nothing. So yeah, like I think we're just contrasting the different character that Hakuhei is compared to Shichika. Like Hakuhei is the textbook version of what this character would be in this very classical tale. Somebody that plays his role as a samurai in a cool samurai movie to a T. We bring up clothing here as an idea that she wears too much clothing, which never works for the record. Don't go with that line there. So yeah, like. There's a number of lines here, like the sword piercing the clothing later in the scene when we meet the guy and she walks into the room and is saved just in the nick of time, and also linking it in with the earlier stuff in the episode about the clothing. This whole time about her being like a fashionista or whatever as well, trips over the corpse, and then we start to get introduced to a few more of the concepts here. Looking up at the castle, which appears out of the desert. So the Maniwa Corps, they're competing, right? There's the race to collect all of the swords, much like we're doing, so we're going to meet more of these guys as we continue. Maybe there's going to be one each episode. Maybe one will meet with the swordsman and die each time. Maybe they'll team up with us. Maybe there will be a ton of other stuff going on, right? We're going to have to see. But 12 Maniwa Corps people, 12 episodes, 12 blades,
something's going on there, right? This is an omen. This guy came before us and is now in 2 pieces. So we got to do something different to what he did. We take a positive lens here as well. Hey, the sword must be here. If he's cut in half, the corpse looks fresh. But also, there's the negative lens, which is the one that Shichika takes as well, which is, hey, this guy must be pretty strong, right? If he was able to kill the Maniwa guy, and I was able to kill the Maniwa guy, then we're probably close-ish on strength, right? We get the backstory here as well. Unari Ginkaku is the one man that didn't leave this land, even after it turned into a desert. More and more people left as the desert continued to encroach, and he was the last one, and kind of honor-bound to stay. Due to his legacy, due to the decision of his forefathers, which were pushed onto him, which, again, may be reflected, at least a little bit, and may be reflected in Togami as well. Let's talk about that. Sins of the father being passed on to the son. Togami here, again, even brings up this report again. I'll have something to write about. I found one of the Maniwa guys, right, outside. That's a cool hook. That's a cool hook to get people in. That'll get more eyes on this. Again, are you just being clever Nisio Isin person, or you got some of the plan? And this line fell a little bit flat for me. That's why I fell for you, but because you're always so positive about such stuff. Like, and then we just kind of just move on. I don't know about that. We're distinguishing ourselves from the Maniwa core here as well. Like, we can't just run in like thieves and kill the guy and steal it, right? We got to follow proper procedure. We got to offer this guy certain stuff, and then if he draws his sword at us, then when we're able to do stuff. Again, much like the start of the episode, there's proper procedure to these things that Shichika needs to be caught up on. Like, if some people come and try to rob you, right? You can break their weapons and tell them to frig off and use self-defense, but it's not okay to then go and murder them. And you need to learn the process of such things. Fish out of water type stuff. This whole time, in contrast to, again, the guy we fought, Komori, the first guy we fought in the first episode, he was all sneaky. He used deception to get his way onto the island. He took the form of other people, right? Where we're contrasting with this guy, who's sitting in a very obvious room, very obvious door, just gotta sit, because he trusts his own strength. He doesn't need to deceive, right? And only when he reveals all of his moves and goes in at full power, we able to actually beat him, right? So Togami does the yap thing here, where she tries to, again, like, we can't just go in and kill people. We have to try to assume that he's a peaceful person, so we have to try to offer him things. I think in the process, we insult him by offering him, like, we can make this all better. No, you can't. Nobody could make this all better. There's nothing that I want beyond this sword. There's some element of corruption there, that this sword is the most important thing to me, and it's changed me, it's poisoned me. Definitely a tragic character. I really do like him. I like this shot here, always focusing on the edge of the door, considering that's very important for what we're doing here. And yeah, we're different from those ninja scum. We'll give you money, something of fair value. What do you want? Do you want your honor restored? We can get rid of the bounty that's on your head, all these other things. Again, not really what he wants in the grand scheme of things, or what he thinks he wants, right? Based on his code of ethics. Another point we bring up as well, like, so Togami here is like, the shogunate, for the good of the shogunate, are you going to do this, right? Well, like, my ancestor was literally employed by the old shogunate and still did this. I'm kind of stuck here now. I'm not going to listen to you. How did you think that was going to convince me? This is the breaking point here. I can release you from your burden. You can have something you desire, or anything you desire. Loud yawn. Oh, can you come a little bit closer into the room? It's a little bit rude that you're standing that far away from a swordsman. It's like I'm going to do something to you, right? If you want to operate on a level of trust, you need to come in a little bit closer. Like, that was the breaking point. You can have anything you desire. No, I can't, right? The thing I desire is for Inaba to be the way it was again. I know you don't have the power to do that, and I'm assuming as much right now. I'm only checking after the fact that you don't have such a power, so it was okay with me trying to kill you. Gotcha. Because that's the only thing he wants, is to have the thing that he needs to protect restored again. An explicit focus on the boundary here again. If I could stop right-clicking. And very cool sequence here. I like the turn of the sword there and grabbing the hilt, right? And then the move right in that second as well. Very interesting maneuver where we kick her to the point where it, like, reverses her, which I don't really understand, but sure. And then she kind of like tantrums out as well. Which is a very cool piece of animation. But yeah, the cut appears, hey, you were in danger this whole time and you didn't even realize it. Apparently, that was the first person to ever dodge Zero Sen, and then we scale it up from there as we continue. Another fun moment of bridiness. Oh, you think he's my big brother? Do I look like this guy's little sister? Kinda. There's a size discrepancy there. And Nisio Isin has a track record. But again, as I said early in the episode, I'm imagining she's like 5 or so years older than him. If I simply said, here you go, gave you the sword after they refused their shogunate, I'd be the laughing stock of my dead fathers. Honor bound. Need to do this. This whole like line running through the whole thing. So this whole time we got the fucking dramatic drums going as well, right? Oh, if you're a swordsman, then come at me. Stop talking and fight back. All this stuff, right? Like building up to this is where the conflict will be. This has to be where the conflict will be, right? Calls it stubbornness. No, it's pride. You may be confident after saving that woman, but come in here with me and I'll show you a real fight. Yeah, come at me. Zero Sen is faster than the speed of light. Togame, I want to confirm something. Is that okay? Just a bit of strategizing. We'll be back soon, so take a nap or something. Just leaves this conflict, right? Like, again, unsure of the customs of this world, of this story, and actively steps out of them at points and does things unexpected. Nonchalant. Not with all the artifice and all the importance that comes with it. As a result, doesn't have a catchphrase. As a result, not an interesting character to write about. Definitely, again, lots and lots of subversive stuff happening here. In a funny way, right? And again, he's just like, okay, whatever, fine. I'm protecting this room. Just close the screen on your way out. And again, this is a tactic to check if he will pursue. Even to the last scene there where he says his name, which is interesting as well because it gets old mate's mind ticking over. He kind of bites his tongue a little bit and says it incorrectly, like not in the cool way you would think he would. Just kind of flubs his lines the same way, in the same way that he flubbed his line in not pursuing the conflict then and there. So now we have a little tactical strategic meeting, which is weirdly enough is initiated by you of all people. I wanted to see if he would chase this or not. We want to see his motivation. What does he really want out of this? On top of that as well, as soon as you went into the boundary of that room, he attacked you, right? So he won't attack us as long as we don't enter that room. And this room's great, right? Because it forces people to get into like conflict with me in a way that I want them to. This is a really funny sequence as well where we're like, oh yeah, this is how we'll get him out of the room. I'll use you as bait. You'll die. He'll put your corpse out here and then he'll leave the room. Perfect, perfect. Except for, Togami dying part, which we can't do. No. Yeah, very funny. Very, very, very funny. And here we get a little bit more to the serious decision to what Shichika's saying, right? We have to face him as he is, right? I think winning today isn't good enough to win tomorrow's battles, right? We kind of got lucky in the first episode, and I don't want to put it up to luck this time. I want to fight this guy in a pretty fair and honorable way. Well, I have to protect the swords, as well as you, right? So I have to prove that I'm strong enough to do so. And then, gets beat red. Look at that. Great color change. Fantastic. So I'll have you stand behind me, just as insurance, just in case. You weren't going first to get sliced in half, you'll stand behind me. Yeah, he's pretty serious here. I can't express it very well, but I want you to do this, right? It's not that you're protecting my back. Basically, people with something to protect are strong. So if I bring you over here, right, and have you behind me, and I protect you, that'll make me strong, right? Isn't that the whole thing behind making Shichika fall for me? To have somebody that is undyingly loyal to me, as opposed to the swordsmen and the ninjas that weren't. It works perfectly, right? Until, well, we subvert that by using her as a platform to jump. And again, as I'll talk about as well, we're using the same idea with you and Inaba, right? You're protecting Inaba, you're the last one left protecting Inaba, you're the last one left protecting this room, which is just a manifestation of what you think the old Inaba used to be, or whatever. You know what I mean? Is that okay? Is that just prideful? Do we need somebody to snap us out of this? Is undying, unqualified, unqualifying? You know what I mean? Without qualifications. Is that good? Is that something we should do? I don't know. This flashback here is really effective as well. Similar technique used to the first episode when we were doing the flashback as well. Again, a little bit grainy. The colors are slightly different. Blah, 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 blah. Kind of similar to the Saki Hakuhei thing as well. Saki? It's one of the two. Leaving was never an option. Is my anchor to this land? To this sword? I don't know, but I have to stay here. I'm bound to it. It's my obsession, right? A swordsman needs something to protect. Without such a thing, he cannot fight. I left out unassuming we are opening the door here as well. Yeah, we're back. We're ready to, continue the fight here. So the strategy initially here is I'm going to sprint at him, right? And get him to, like, reveal one of his moves again and test him out and, not try to kill him with that strike, but just, feeling him out, that kind of vibe, right? 1, 2 step, and then, like, teleports backwards, right? There was, like, a version of him that was, like, ahead of him, then he stepped back, then he went forward again. Yeah, we say here Shichika kind of held back. I don't really know why, but he did. And yeah, just continuing to tell Togame, just stand behind me. Make sure you're behind me, right? We bring up catchphrases as well, right? This is the first time I've felt alive in ages. Well, good morning to you. Well, good night to you. See, it's kind of like this is how this scene would play out in a more typical thing, right? Is this anything? Kind of. Yeah, so it's still 0 sen, but he says go. Interesting, I don't know. I thought it would be like a 0 means 0 thing, but not really. And then he, like, powers up by hurting himself. All the blood rolls into the sheath. Again, literally like an outward depiction of the self-destructive tendencies of what he's doing, right? Togami comes up with a coward strat here, which is, oh, he's bleeding out now. Let's just, like, leave him. It's our chance to win. No, we're going to face him honorably, right? That wouldn't be winning. Again, I told you, I'm not going to win by chance. I'm going to show you that I'm powerful enough to protect you and protect the swords. It makes me ashamed to be hiding moves. So now I'm going to show you all my moves, you're going to show me your best moves, and we're going to fight on even terms almost. So the jurisdiction of the shogunate still means that, hey, like, we can't help you with your whole desert problem. So yeah, I didn't make a mistake in attacking you. Why are you doing this? I wonder. Is it pride? I wonder that too. He doesn't even really know anymore. I just wanted to protect something. Don't take my words too seriously. I wanted to protect something, and this was the only thing left for me, and now, oh yeah, now that I know all that, we're ready to fight. On your marks, get set, we're ready for our secret moves. So yeah, he did the same thing where he, like, made a copy of himself. It got slashed by the 10-time thing. He flew backwards, much like Togami flew backwards earlier. He put his foot in her face to a point where it caved in. She says a gyafun, which again is a nice reference to the first episode. And then yeah, I went to the roof. The roof was my strategy, basically. And then we hit him with the scattered blossoms, apparently. 7th hidden art. Number 7? Oh my god. And yeah, this is a really cool scene. Yeah, looks fantastic. Looks really, really good. Even reminds me of some Monogatari stuff, weirdly enough. And then, yeah, we just cut out of there. Like, that kind of violent ending there, with, like, blood kind of going everywhere and the fucking leaves going everywhere, right? Like, we just cut straight out of that. And, and Shichika, like a lost puppy, he's like, why aren't you talking to me? He's mad that you kicked her in the face. Again, completing the trilogy of scenes that are just boyfriend-girlfriend stuff in this episode. I never thought you'd use me as a wall to kick off of. Oh, so that's why you're angry. I'm not angry. Like, yeah, again, just she's just girlfriend, isn't she? And yeah, all the babbling was about, like, I need someone to protect, and so I need you behind me, and then you got all red, and that was kind of bullshit. Maybe that's the main reason why you're mad. I don't know. There's a lot to see here, right? So people that protect people are strong, but also people who need something to protect in order to keep living. Like, they're also a concept that we need to, like, think about. So I need Inaba, I need this castle, I need this room as my reason to continue living. And that was the main, like, lesson we learned from Inari Ginkaku, if I can remember his name at all. A really honorable ending here as well for Shichika. Doesn't want to look at the sword. I couldn't see it while it was in motion, so I don't have the right to see it now. What will happen to Inaba now? It'll perish, but still, it's like, the remnants there will live on long after us. It might even continue on for 1,000 more years, just not as a castle. Nobody can win against nature in the end, right? Not even that swordsman. But Inari's final line, that was really cool, wasn't it, right? He's going to protect this place, the understanding of pride, all that kind of stuff, right? It brought out his character. Again, this Nisio Isin-esque, like, zoom out macro look at what this story was about, said by one of the characters, which is kind of funny. Yeah, we bring up the idea of a line to fall by. It wasn't a catchphrase per se, it was a closing message. It was the kind of thing you only ever say once in your life, right? The kind of thing you're not allowed to say until you're, like, right on death's door. So yeah, that concept of final words is cool, right? However, understand that you, Shichika, you're not allowed to do this, not even once. You have to preserve your own life. Remember the rules, right? You needn't give any thought to your final words, right? Then we get a last message here from Inari, or Neri. At last, deep sleep is allowed for me. And then I think we're going to do this like each and every time. It's got like a unique ED song to the point where I guess I'll skim the lyrics, right? So last week I was kind of like, oh yeah, I was reading these lyrics with the idea that this would be the ED as we continued. No, if we get like unique EDs every time, then I don't really know. This song does kind of rip for the record. It's really good. So yeah, like a real rock song, like thrumming guitars and all that kind of stuff, right? So the lyrics so far have been like an empty land and like this white space, a place frozen in time, definitely reflecting Inaba and the castle, right? If I can die honorably, scattering sorrowfully in beauty, I draw unfading, vivid wings. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff there about like honor and being in this land that's falling apart and like what role do I have to play there? Again, you can apply it to the guy, right? To Inari Ginkaku for sure. And then next time on, which I'm not going to read into again, but they seem like they're in the kind of voice of the characters and stuff, much like the Monogatari ones were early. So yeah, that's that, I guess. So yeah, I may write something after the fact, just summarizing some stuff to take forward, I think. Or I can just kind of remember it, I don't know. But yeah, this episode was really good. It was really, really good again. I really liking the dynamic between the two characters. I think this like mini story about this like really honorable guy is pretty cool too. I like the Nisio Isin subverting expectations stuff. They've got a really good boyfriend-girlfriend-esque rapport going on, and production, music, all that kind of stuff remains solid, right? Just a lot of talk in this show, which again makes sense based on the novel it's based off of, right? At least if the writing style is similar to his other works. But yeah, we're going to leave it there. Thank you for watching here today. Looking forward to more Katanagatari next week. Just my show stuff, I guess. So if you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation. Comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join Discord, love Discord, Discord. And yes, I'll catch you guys next week for more Katanagatari goodness. Thank you for watching here today, and I'll catch you later. Oh, what I should say at the end of these is cheerio. Yeah, cheerio, bye. That's perfect. I love that.